Creetings, which were originally split into around about 4, I believe it was. One was Creeting St Mary, one was Creeting St Olaf, one was Creeting St All Saints, and the other one, which was quite remote from all the others, was West Creeting, or Creeting St Peter at that particular time. Civilised by a Saxon king, and his name was Craeta, C-R-A-E-T-A. The village sign has been created by Mr. Barha of Flint Hall and denotes the cross keys of St Peter in the church and the cockerel also from the stained glass window in the church. We believe that there was a plague which affected the real Creeting St Peter, and after the plague had been burnt out and all the cottages, etc., a new village was created remote from the church, in fact probably a mile from the church.
So were you in the choir?
Yes, Mr. Daniels was the organist and the choir master, and he used to we used to have choir practice on one night a week, and then we used to practice for anthems at Easter and things like that. And then we had a organ installed in the church. I can't actually remember when it was installed, but I know one of us used to have to pump the organ for him. And one of our favourite games was we'd pump it so slow that we knew how to let it go right down before he actually could play it. And sometimes and then we used to have to pump like mad to get the wind up again so he could play it, and sometimes that didn't quite work. There used to be some funny noises come out of it, and we never used to get our 2 shillings then when that used to happen.
We've got a flourishing Sunday school, but the children don't come to the church very often. We have a good carol service every year at Christmas Eve, and we get about 100. We have had 160 in the church, which is, it's only a very small church, so we're packed in, and it's lovely to see it.
Well, I think since our friends group has started, to raise funds for the church, I think it's actually brought the community a little bit closer together. Because I think living down here, you're out of the village and you don't really come into contact with people unless you specifically want someone or want to see someone about something.
Because at that time we used to go to church. We never went to church. There was very few people used to go to church in the village. And my mother and that used to go, and when I got older, we tied a parcel up on a bit of string, and these people used to walk to the church, to the chapel, and they see this parcel, and they'd go to pick it up, and then you'd pull it away, and I'd grab away from it.
Can you remember Miss Twiddle?
We remember.
Oh dear.
Miss Twiddle, oh yeah. Yeah, she used to play on I wouldn't have called it a squeeze box, a little toddy thing like that it was, yeah. And she used to, in those days, the road was down there, and there used to be a bit of a bank, especially where Holden's, that was their cart shed was, I think. She used to sit there with her knees like that. When I go, she'd never had any knickers on.
When we were at primary school at Stow Upland, the urinals were outside, and us boys used to get together and try and beat each other to pee over the wall of the urinal. One lad in particular managed to get up over the top of the wall, and only to be discovered afterwards that head mistress, Miss Finch, was walking past at the time.
Yes, we had to go to Stow Upland Primary, and we used to have to walk. We walked down to, well, we called it Liddy Pegs, which is gone now, and across the meadows, and come out along the footpath opposite the school. I don't know how we ever got there on time, because we used to go fishing and all sorts of things, and well, I don't think we did always get there on time. Sometimes school had started, but they never seemed to mind that we was late or whatever.
One thing sticking out was a bloke called Old Liddy Peg, his name was. He used to have his fancy pigeons, and I was always interested in birds, and it was just to pass old Liddy's going to school. And from there, especially winter time, that was hell walking from about 2.5 miles from where we used to live to Starton School.
Yeah, I remember.
And when we got there, we were soaking wet or clogged up in mud.
We had slate boards and pencils. You used to write on the slate with a slate pencil, and I've seen the slate go from one room to the other.
When we were at school, the boys' toilets were left on the same sort of block as the girls, with a big brick wall in between. And us girls used to stand on the top step and jump up and look over at the boys' toilets, and that's what I got the cane for. The only time I ever got the cane in school.
You haven't got it, have you?
No.
You never took days off school then?
Yeah, oh yes. Yeah, we used to very often play truant.
What did you do on your days off when you were playing truant?
Well, with the girls, we used to play mothers and fathers.
You'll get some dirty remarks.
I know another thing we used to do is, what we missed was playing hoops. Remember hoops? We used to an old bicycle wheel.
Take all the spokes
Take all the spokes out, and just have the iron rim like that, and we had a little bit of stick about a foot long like that, and we used to
hold on the top and all, didn't you?
And tops.
And then when you wanted to go around the corner, you just touched it on the side, and it used to come round back.
And tops and yo-yos. We had yo-yos in them days, didn't we?
Oh, yo-yos. I still got mine.
Marbles was the best. I saw the old Denny's, the old
outside the blacksmiths.
Blacksmiths, they'd play these marbles, didn't we? Used to have these.
No dinksies.
Before we got the glass alleys, they were the marbles.
Yeah,
clay marbles.
Big ones we called dobblers.
That's right.
Yeah.
Can you remember the village shop?
Oh yes, I used to have Saturday sixpence, as we used to call it, and used to go down to the shop, and sometimes he'd have packets of Bruton crisps. They were a penny a packet. We used to buy 6 packets of them, and they were big packets, so just all the little crispy bits, I suppose, what they off the manufacturing, you know. Now and again he'd have a tin of them, and we'd buy them, or all sorts of sweets.
Can you remember the village shop closing?
I can remember it closing, but I can't remember when.
Did it affect your life in any way?
Very much, yes. It affected the sort of social life of the village, because we used to go up and pick up our papers and meet people, where now you don't meet people at all.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Did you go skating on the horse pond?
Yeah. Fell in many times.
I fell in, remember I
It wasn't called horse, that was called hoss. A hoss pond it was, not horse. There you put it.
You've got to put
The old
hoss
hoss
on.
pond. Used to run about 30, 40 yards down the slope and what across this pond.
We used to have a saying then. When we started it on the ice, you know, if it bent, that was all right. Yeah,
No.
we used to say, crack she bears, bend she breaks, and in you go and no mistake.
There was 2 boys got drowned, yes, 2 brothers. There's one boy dropped in the ice, he was a Hawkins. And his brother went to pull him out, and he fell in and all, so they both got drowned. Yeah.
Did the village stop people skating after that?
Not really, not really. No, children still went and went on this ice, you know, for sport, sliding on this ice. That used to creak and crack, well, you know, it used to sort of give you the warning, so look out and get to the side sort of thing. But we enjoyed it.
I used to go out poaching after rabbits.
Did you ever catch any rabbits?
Yes.
Farmers ever catch you?
No. I used to like Guy Fawkes night, you see. Fireworks let them off, and then you could go round the fields and I hear bang and I wouldn't know what it was.
On the road outside Jubilee Cottage, we used to have go to my granddad's, which was the farm, that green farm, and get a wagon rope, and we could skip in the middle of the road, all the children. We used to skip and play games, and night times we used to play a game that we used to call 40-40. And when all the big children who had been to school and or at work, and they'd come and we'd all play and we'd hide up all over the village, and the village pump used to be the home, and we used to, well, you could hide up all night and nobody could find you.
Oh yes, I had some happy memories about kites. What they consisted of was one big bed of clay, and about, 30 yards down up, and another big bed with this big iron stake right in the middle, and used to have this white piece of paper.
Call it a flight.
Flight we used to call, and stick it on there, and used to throw these steel round kites. And Don and I used to play pretty regular, but really that was a man's game really, because the kites they were using were pretty heavy, and that was a real competition. And Dad and his next door neighbour, Mr. Meekins, they were really good at it. In fact, I think I remember rightly, Dad
won a cup.
We won a cup at Ipswich Christchurch Park.
Can you tell us about the cottage you lived in as a child?
Well, I was born at Creeting St Mary in the Fen House until I was 10, when we moved to Stow Upland, and then we moved after that to Creeting, here in the cottages where these houses are built on now, which was on the green cottages, where the bedroom floor sloped down like that. So you got to lie one way. If you turned over, you'd fall out of bed. Oh yes, there was a rat's hole underneath the window, and he used to wake up in the night, and you could see the rat looking out at you. And we used to throw bits of paper at it.
I think she had a few hairs on her chin, didn't she?